Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Strange Realms.
Hello.
I'm Brad. This is my co-host Aaron, and today we're going to talk about symbolism.
We're not going to get we wanted to get super in depth and have this be a longer episode, but when you really start digging into symbolism, there's just so much to it, and there's a lot of nuances and associations, and it's a super big web basically of.
It'll basically be its own series.
There's a lot to it.
We're going to talk about and show you guys a few examples, give you a little definition. Saturn is really big when it comes to symbolism. We're not going to get super
That's
deep.
A good example of hidden in plain sight symbolism, I guess is what you would say.
And then if you don't know about the Denver airport, we're going to talk about it. It's freaking
wild.
All the symbolism hidden in DC and how it's structured as a city and laid out.
The geometry, at least.
Pretty crazy stuff with that. And then I recently had an experience at work where I fully believe the guy was a Mason, which doesn't always mean
he might not be
bad things, but it was pretty cool, pretty nutty. So talk about that a little bit. So first, what is symbolism? What is the
symbolism?
The definition of
the practice of representing things by means of symbols or of attributing symbolic meanings or significance to objects, events, or relationships, or simply just a system of symbols or it's a symbol that represents an idea or a concept, basically. It takes something that's a broad concept and just condenses it down to a single symbol, basically.
Right. Get symbolism used a lot in sigil magic. We've talked a little bit about that, which we'll get in more to,
really symbolism
in the future
everywhere if you really think about it.
Even
what is
Nike,
marketing?
The Nike sign.
That's what I'm saying. What's a logo? Symbolism. A logo is a symbol.
Right. So let's see. I'm going to do a little screen share. Let's see. That guy. Let's see. Boom. Few examples. This, when you got all these celebrities, especially the females, covering up one eye, and that's a big Illuminati.
I hate the term Illuminati because it's so nebulous, but yeah. It's whatever the all-seeing eye, I guess, would be like.
Right.
Yeah.
So here, that's you get what you get with DuckDuckGo and Google. I've been looking at other search engines and I'm about to start using them.
Yeah.
This DuckDuckGo, I don't know if you have heard about all that, but they got outed pretty much as they're pretty much Google. They just don't sell your information.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's probably still censored searches.
Oh yeah, that most definitely. Yeah, this is a popular thing. A dollar bill.
Yeah, as above, so below.
No one ever likes,
the symbolism of the dollar bill
is insane.
Pull it up, get an image of a dollar, just a $1 bill, American $1 bill.
USD currency.
Yeah, pull that bad boy up.
Here's a good one. Get close.
There's not as much on the front as there is the back.
Full of it, but there's you have to get magnifying glasses and you have to get
click the back.
You have to get pretty nutty with it, but
okay, so you've got this. Okay, so apparently this is supposed to be illumination, that's why you get the halos coming off of it.
He's pointing at the eye. The pyramid, they can't see the
point. Basically, if you're looking at the wreath around it, there was some kind of significance with the wreath around it too. I think it was. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but just the leaves on the front.
Yeah. It's all. And then there's supposed to be. If you click the back one again, there's supposed to be an owl of Minerva. It might be on the front actually. Click the front again. I think it's in the left. It's in the top right.
I've seen that before though. Yeah, so it's somewhere
it's supposed to be right there.
And of course, if we did deeper like a deeper search, you can find it whether it's outlined in there or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, all money has
significant symbolism.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts. That would be a good one to talk about in
Yeah.
the future. Go a little deeper on that. So, those are just a few examples. Pentagrams,
Pentacles.
cross, even the cross, different crosses, upside down crosses, different variations
Go with
on the
that one.
star. Yeah, I'll go with that one website.
It's the second, the
This
second to
one
last
right
tab.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is symbolsandmeanings.net. I have to shout them out. Just kind of stumbled upon it. They go through different symbols and categories and
Seal of Solomon.
Solomon's super interesting stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to talk about.
Here, scroll down to the good ones.
Yeah.
So that's the cross of, they called the cross of Saint Peter, I think.
I believe
The
so.
the peach, that's like the whatever the plural. I don't know if plural is not the right word, but
right.
yeah. And then there's the pentacle, pentagram, the 8-pointed star.
All different, of course. They all,
So that is like the actual satanic cross,
if you look, I don't
or
know
symbol.
if you can keep up with my mouse here. You got your horns, right? Your ears. On the other side, you got the billy goat,
the hair, the
scruff, if you will, and then your
the
chin hair, whatever. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's got a lot of sacred geometry in it. It's not cool as in like, oh, it's awesome, but
yeah,
it's just interesting how they like
just hit like it's
come up with this.
That's it's apparently a sigil that is in a book that was written by Solomon or the Lesser Key of Solomon, and it's a grimoire basically that goes into demonology, and like it explains all these are seals that are used to commune and or even summon these particular demons.
Yeah. And it's hard to find stuff on.
It really is.
I've looked,
and especially Ars Goetia.
Yeah. Lilith.
That's Lilith, yeah.
Lilith, yeah.
And see, if you look, so like at first, this is a good example. So if you saw this symbol, right, like, and this might just be an artistic depiction, but if you zoom in on that, like it's got swirls inside the moon.
Yeah, right.
So like that's the thing about symbology is like that I think is interesting, is at first glance it just looks like a moon with a cross underneath, but if you start looking at it, it's got all this like I don't know what you would call that, filigree or
right, hidden symbolism.
Yeah, within symbolism basically.
It's super interesting, and it goes where you click on, it goes deeper.
Yeah,
Lilith is
that's the sigil of Lilith, which is interesting dark, because that's also the symbol of Saturn incorporated into other things. I'm pretty sure that's like that H looking symbol is Saturn in the middle. Yeah,
I think so. It goes like have Ra and Horus, and
yeah. There's a lot. Well, we could talk about the whole Saturn thing too, because
Saturn is super like
this symbology, and like
if any of this stuff is real, Saturn's at the center of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
It's all pretty nuts. Saturn, like Saturday. We were listening
Saturn.
Listening to the tinfoil hat episode with the guy on there, and he's talking about how the Antichrist or whatever and the mark of the beast is really people who go to church on Sunday, because Saturday is the actual Sabbath that you should worship on.
They changed it to Sunday, yeah.
But the mark of the beast would be.
Well, if you look into Catholicism, super co-opted and hijacked to begin with.
No, definitely. Yeah. I would love to get my hands on like a really old
Bible. That's before it got edited, yeah, for sure.
This is a pretty cool site if you want to go. Like always, do your own research on symbolism. Anything we talked about, anything cool you're interesting that's shady in any type. I mean, all this stuff's super cool to look up and read.
Eye of Horus,
yeah.
Which is almost, I mean, it's similar to the Eye of Ra. Like,
people, I mean, it's hard to, unless you really know, they're hard to tell apart.
Yeah.
So what's this?
That's the Leviathan Cross. Also known as the Satan's Cross.
infinity symbol.
Yeah.
I assume these are all
Well, see, that's the actual seal of Satan in the back, like
right.
those images, like the
Yeah.
symbol in the back, and the one that's on the forefront is the satanic cross, is what they call it. That's the runic Viking
Norse,
compass, yeah, which has got that's two symbols in one, because the dragon around the outside is Ouroboros, I think is what they called them. Well, Jormungandr, but like there's a concept of the world serpent called Ouroboros. I think it's in others, a couple other cultures too, not just in Norse mythology, but it's got the, I think that's like they call that the Icelandic Cross or something like that, and that's got the Ouroboros around it. Like if you go down, I think it explains that.
Right. Let's see.
No,
You have to
yeah, in Iceland, Vegvisir. So it's like supposed to help you find your way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Huh, that's cool.
I think that's the last one they got on there. But
I always think of like first base forms of symbolism that you notice as a kid, or like, I guess it's not even really symbolism. It kind of gets you used to the notion is how in school and like math or whatever, they'll show you a picture of a big triangle and there's a bunch of little triangles in it. Like, how many triangles is in it?
yeah,
You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah.
And then of course, they had a lot of symbolism, like
plain sight.
the same way as they do like subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just,
and see, the thing about it, this is what really is interesting, is your subconscious doesn't miss any of this. It's picking up like stuff that your conscious mind is not picking up on. Your subconscious mind is not missing a lick.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, like all these symbols have a meaning, and if you really believe in it, I mean, I've got a lot of belief in this, like where it's conveying a concept to you subconsciously. You don't even know that it's conveying something to you, but
like,
it is.
I feel like all of it too, like all symbols, like when you see it, even if you can't like feel it immediately or understand it, whatever,
that's
like
what
they
I'm
all
saying.
Convey an emotion inside of you.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you're not picking up on it consciously, subconsciously you are.
Yeah,
I feel like.
right. It's like, what was he talking about? Get that off the freaking page. Sitting on it. Let's go back to stop sharing for a moment. So what was it? It was something I was listening to recently or reading, and they were talking about, what was it, dude? It was nuts. Something about symbolism. Damn it, I'll think about it again in a second. But so if you don't know about the Denver airport.
Yeah, let's talk about the Denver airport.
The Denver airport cost almost $5 billion to build, which I can't remember this.
That's a lot of money.
I can't remember the stat, but it's something like double the amount for like
your average.
Yeah, right. And for the size of it, like it's not anything
an international airport.
Yeah, it's not anything really super crazy, and it's relatively new. It was constructed in '94 and opened in '95. So let's see. Don't want to do that. Okay. So
I just have to click on the.
I'll just
share
it again. Boom. Go right back to it. Here we go. Denver. Where is it? Here's some pictures. So first of all, there's like the whole
all this weird like art, and
so some people believe that the Masons, like, I guess, built it or designed it. But they do have. I mean, this is out in front of it.
Yeah, I mean that's
like,
the Mason symbol.
And then they have, erected and blah blah blah. So is it technically a lodge?
The most worshipful Prince Hal Grand Lodge.
They go meet here.
Colorado and jurisdiction. So yeah, it's the Claude Gray Senior Grand Master. The most worshipful Grand Lodge of AF and AM of color. Yeah, so yeah, it was definitely like there was Masonry.
So there's all kinds of like, let me go to this one website.
Or Freemasonry, I should say.
There's all kinds of crazy, like,
Well, show them that. Yeah,
conspiracies,
show them this art. Yeah.
this art piece here. Like,
Oh, there was a better image, I think, a bigger
better
one. Yeah.
Let's see. No, quit popping up.
Down below, right here.
Which one? This one.
Yeah. Maybe that one. I'm not sure.
But it's people. Okay, this is a lady, you know, standing holding a baby. She's obviously, you know, a peasant.
She's like, but she's weeping. She's holding a dead kid, I think.
And then all these
her dead
down here are
child,
like cowering children, and there's a baby, you know, wrapped up here. And this is just like people. I would assume people of the world, because they all look very like ethnically different.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you've got like, so like the rainbow at the top, like it's almost like a what's that thing called? It's like a little it's like a triangle shaped piece of glass, a prism.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it will take light and then turn it all into the different colors.
It's like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah, but it's weird because if you look at the symbolism, which no pun intended, the rainbow is going into his head, and then after that, it's just light.
Right. Yeah.
That fades out.
And then
you got ruined buildings and all this stuff, and then this guy's like defending all these people. Yeah, holding a machine gun and this giant scimitar, and like the dove as well.
Doves.
Doves.
Extremely popular in especially religious beliefs.
Yeah, it shows up a lot.
The dove.
Or the pigeon, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy himself just looks like almost looks like Nazi like uniforms. It's really weird, man.
I have to find a better image. I got to look at this one. I've seen this one before.
I wish you could zoom in, because that's really good.
Like, and it's just on display.
If you can't see this stuff, please, we implore you, like, go look up. Just look up Denver Airport artwork, or symbolism.
And
like
they have
it's all over the place.
The huge stallion out front.
Yeah,
and then
its eyes glow at night.
They have
hair standing on end.
I don't want to show that on here too much. I don't want to. I can't be risking that. Yeah, they have a huge statue of Anubis.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, like, seriously, people, come on. What are you doing? Who are these people?
like why? Yeah. I mean, like we were talking about the other day, like Anubis wasn't necessarily like an evil god. He just judged people if their heart was like, pure or not. But
yeah, I have no issues at all. It's not even that it's a statue.
It's the question of why. Yeah,
like if it was a statue of Jesus or Moses or whoever, whatever, like Zeus, I don't care. Like, why?
Yeah,
why is it there?
It's just because, like, you don't think, like, when you think of America and like your typical like art and like stuff that they have in public places and stuff, it's not typically like Egyptian gods.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just out of place, I guess.
But a little bit off topic, but not really, because it is symbolism. In this book, One World Tartarians Change Your Life. At least it'll blow your mind for sure. It blew mine. But he talks about how he has some crazy theories about Rome and Greek. And if you notice, even to this day, when they build a new building, like a courthouse or whatever, some kind of government building, it's all like Greek architecture.
Yeah.
But he has a theory about how Greek and Rome was everywhere, and America's new Greek and Rome, and then that gets into like world fairs and like some super duper deep crazy
Dude,
shit.
We got to do something on the world fairs, because I watch. I'm getting off topic, but
symbolism, it's everywhere.
No, but world fair, but that wasn't even symbolism, dude. It was crazy.
No, yeah, world fair is nuts, but yeah, I mean, and they just got all of this crazy artwork and the whole thing. Which, if you didn't see the one up top, I don't really want to show it too much and get into it on YouTube and get like.
There's supposed to be like a SWAT, like it's
it's
got a vortex that pretty much resembles a swastika.
Yeah, and I get like some of this stuff is a stretch, but some of it's like it's there, it's painted like it's. Wow,
I don't know, man. Because I mean, like people think like when you look at art, it's just like, oh, it's art. It's supposed to beautify stuff. But I mean, like, this is very particular, specific art and it's got
Right, yeah.
all kinds of like symbolism packed into it, just like it's just symbol after symbol after symbol after symbol. And it's not just the symbols, but the way that they're arranged and how they interact, like correlate with each other within that like art.
Right. It's almost
It's
like
the
they're trying to
context.
tell a story with
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the
yeah.
context of how it's arranged in the
And
art.
then this is from Ohio State University. So I mean, but it is, again, it's kind of, I guess, on the side of just
What people will call
research.
fringe. Yeah.
But it goes through, you can read it yourself. It's a lot to read. I'm not going to robotically go through it and start reading it, but it's on, osu.edu, Ohio State's website. You can just find it. I just Googled or whatever.
They had supposedly have a ton of like UFO activity above that one too, all the time.
But it talks about, when it started, people involved with the Denver airport and all this. And there's like some crazy theories they get into about there being like underground bunkers for the elite there.
Yeah.
There's like they get all the way into the lizard people and aliens.
It gets pretty in depth.
The most wild shit of conspiracy theories is.
But it's on Ohio State University. Like this is not. I mean, it's obviously something that gets put like. I don't know. You would think like if this was just complete garbage, that the college wouldn't let. Yeah, it's up there.
Accredited school, any kind of.
It's an academic page.
Yeah, but it goes through a bunch of different, statistics and whatnot, and there are other things that if you look deeper into it, which we could probably do.
But that ties into like literally. So if you think about it, if you look at like, okay, so back when the Bushes were in power, or Bush Jr., they kept like all this, like he kept saying, "Oh, we need more money for defense spending. We need this and that." Like we throw so much, which our next episode is on the military-industrial complex. So it's a good segue into it, really. We throw so much money into military spending and defense spending in general, and like really we don't get told where that money goes. For the most part, it's going to a lot of different companies, which we'll get into in our military industrial complex episode. But
a lot of money,
a lot. I mean, if you're talking about hidden bunkers and like rail lines underneath the ground and stuff. I mean, it's quite possible that money that we are paying in taxes, all that stuff is just going to stuff like that. Because definitely. I mean, like they don't ever give you any kind of there's no representation of where that money's going.
No. And you'd never, I mean,
they would have the money for something like that because they're definitely taking it from us.
It's like
it's going into a vacuum somewhere.
So much money every year on defense, but I mean, I don't know that much about weapons technology, but it doesn't seem to have come for the amount of money we spend on it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not just for weapons. That's what I'm saying. Like it goes into infrastructure, bunkers, stuff we don't even probably know about.
Oh yeah, secret projects.
There's no like update of where that money is.
Like our last episode we talked about with the CIA and all that. If you missed it or you're new to the channel,
yeah, go back.
By the way, go back and give that a watch, like and subscribe. Always
Please.
Appreciate it. Just a quick throw that out there for you guys.
Our quick plug for the day.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, this is it's a pretty good read.
Yeah.
Let me talk about Jesse Ventura. It was pretty wild.
I can't get into Jesse Ventura. I just think he's a hoax and a half. I think he just does it for money and be like. That's just me.
Let's see. So I guess the next thing we can jump over to DC.
Yeah.
Jump on over.
DC is really good.
Let's see, where do I got this? So this is
the website is great. JesusIsPrecious.org.
So awesome. The vigilant citizen.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, shout out to you, bro. So yeah, I mean the Pentagon itself is
super symbolic.
Symbol, it's a symbol itself, right? So very basic shape symbol. I would assume something to do with sacred geometry.
Well, I mean, the whole layout, I mean, like of Washington, D.C., like if you start connecting, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's, they go into the owl, if Bohemian Grove, they worship the big owl.
Supposedly that owl is supposed to symbolize Moloch.
Yeah. and
But I mean,
Washington
and it was
Monument.
also like associated with Athena, Minerva, which was her Roman like version. And that was her symbol, was the owl.
the owl, yeah.
Yeah,
And the owl has a lot of other meanings too,
tons.
outside of occult symbolism. It's kind of like a kitschy symbol for, like Halloween and Wicca, witchcraft, and all that stuff. They use the owl a lot, so it's not always bad. But there's a specific way, like the way this owl's drawn.
Yeah,
Even the one from Bohemian Grove, basically. Which I mean,
it's a certain type of
you
owl.
could stretch this, I guess, and say people are just reaching with all that, but
It does kind of resemble an owl with wings,
it's like you can even see the wings coming out here.
like those horned owls that have
They
like the
didn't,
feathers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look, he's got like evil, like moth-looking wings right here off these roads.
Yeah,
but they didn't connect them.
well, no, what I meant is like the red. If you look at the red, like that part right there that you've got your that's the wing.
Yeah.
If you go up,
It's like
those round egg-shaped parts are like the eyes.
Yeah. But I'm saying if he had it connected, whoever did it, if they connected the red, these kind of look like a moth style, like pointy
Mothman almost
wing.
looking. Yeah.
That's something else. I thought about that too, our cryptid episode, going back and doing some more on that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah, like all the points, see, like you can even see it if you look close enough here.
It's obvious.
They even outline it, you can see the shape in it, dude. It's nuts.
And see, look, so I heard a thing. This is just, we're going to go into like way out there town for a little bit. So this basically, they were saying that this symbol was a seal. So if you have a seal that is, keeping it, pinned or trapped,
right,
or keeping it from, it's blocking something. So if you draw a seal,
a magic spell.
Yes, but if it's not complete, if you're missing certain lines and vertices, it's not a complete seal. So therefore, it allows whatever through.
Right.
And that's what that symbol. If you look, like take your mouse, like you see the yellow lines right there, it's not complete. There's not a street there, and there's not a street on the top right. They're all broken, which I thought was super interesting. I mean, if you're into like,
it has to be,
if you have occult knowledge or you're into occult, subjects like
if you're
seals, and I mean that's what
you're here watching. Hopefully,
that's what a symbol is. I mean, or a seal is a symbol.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know, man. It
is interesting.
It makes you think.
If it was meant to be,
and that was a thing that came up in Faust, which is like a whole deal about the devil and like making a deal and all this stuff. And that was a line in Faust that it's like, or something that came out of that like literary piece that if it wasn't complete, it allowed it through.
That is interesting that they would leave those holes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because like if they're really as strategic and tedious as we give them credit to be, then that's something I feel like it has to be purposeful.
Yeah, because like why else would you have? I mean, it matches up perfectly with like the points, the intersections, I guess is what you would call them.
So and what if
the vertices
even further to crazy town out here? So what if this is all like, obviously it's sacred geometry if you laid it all over top of each other or whatever. But like, so what if each point at a certain time they can connect and make these symbols, and then they like open dimensions with it?
I mean, maybe. So I'm saying so it's like a different symbol for
right. Yeah. And I know that's like way crazy.
You can change it as you go. Yeah, that's pretty out there, but yeah.
I just like thinking about that kind of like, and then the Washington Monument and the Egyptian obelisk or whatever.
Obelisk,
and their measurements are like super. It talks about it right here. 55.5 feet tall,
which is equal to 666 inches.
Yeah, and then this is
the height of the obelisk is 555.5 feet, which is also 6.666 inches. The obelisk is a representative of there's a lot of phallic representation.
Definitely in Washington.
Which, well, George Carlin had a skit about that. He was like, why do all the missiles and everything, they're all shaped like phallics? Like it's all phallic.
And so there's like that type of Satanism is very like male dominant.
Yeah.
Which is where all that shit comes from, I would assume. And then that gets you into really, really dark territory that I don't really, I'm not ever going to talk about it on YouTube, but that gets you into like the whole child thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we'll never talk about that on here.
Nope.
But
so yeah,
the other
you got another
side-
plug that'll be on our website,
yeah,
which we're getting up.
which I think I'm going to use Card for that. There's the website called Card, CARRD, and it's a 1-page site. I'm going to see if you can put
Content
on it, because I know you can put stuff on there to buy. I've seen people do it to buy
Yeah.
stuff.
So we just put our episodes on
yeah,
there.
so
Yeah.
I can just put.
That's
it on
where we're
there.
really going to get into this, so we're not going to hold anything back. For
And
YouTube, we definitely like.
If we can do
ourselves.
video, we may do video, but we may do
We'll probably have audio and
some
video.
just audio too. Yeah. That way, if you listen in your car or whatever.
Yeah, that would be it's convenient.
But yeah, but then like there's other Satanism too.
There's like Orthodox, there's Leviathan, there's Luciferian.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different like categories.
And then yeah, this is like, I'm not sure what they call this.
That's the Senate building?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Capitol building. Also resembling an owl.
Keep going
Yeah, I
down.
could see that there.
Yeah.
Body, tail. And see, look right there, Greek.
Yeah.
Greek and real, like why, like I understand.
I mean, people's like I guess like
it's like
on a base
birth
level
of
democracy
or whatever.
but like there's also the argument that it just looks pretty. It's you know,
which
it looks
badass.
it does look like it has that ancient look. I don't know what I kind of describe
And
it
then
like.
me and her, we went down to the Pantheon, whatever it's called, Parthenon.
Yeah.
Down in Nashville. They were still working on it or whatever, but I got some sweet pictures. They got a huge Athena statue in there. We didn't get to go to the front like with the pillars and stuff because that was the part that was under construction.
Yeah.
Well, we went in from the back or whatever, and it's pretty cool. It'll be super cool when they get it finished and go back. But I mean, yeah, like almost every building in Washington is Greco-Roman inspired. I'll go. I mean, just drive down your street, go by the courthouse. It's probably Greek-Roman inspired, you know.
Yeah.
And then here's your.
They definitely, like I said, there's a lot of comparisons, man, and it's just like if this stuff really is true, the best way to do it would be hide it in plain sight, but do it in a way where it's not completely obvious.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. That right there to me looks like what is that, Zeus?
Zeus, I believe so. Let me see.
Yeah, it's a statue of Zeus.
Zeus at Olympia.
Yeah, it's almost identical to the picture of the statue of Baphomet.
And then there's the dollar.
Yeah.
Infamous dollar. And then I don't know, like whenever I was a kid after 9/11 happened, it was, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what it is, but if you fold the $20 bill up,
it looks like two buildings burning.
You get the towers, the Twin Towers, and you do it the other way, and you get the Pentagon or whatever.
That's a subject we'll probably talk about on our website just to be safe.
Yeah, I mean it's old, and like people, it's a common thing now.
It's still, but
or more common.
I try to talk to it about that particular thing to some people. It's still a touchy subject to a lot of people.
Which I mean, I get it, I guess, but.
And see, and like this, we're not necessarily saying like we believe everything that this guy's saying on this website. This is just examples of.
A lot of.
For me,
it was a good, decent website with a lot of good, easy information if you want to go read about it. Whenever I do research, mostly I do 2 to 3. I'll do like a first page, a third page, and then I'll try to go as deep as I can before it starts repeating the search.
Yeah.
And find some other deeper stuff. I would like to start looking on Reddit for stuff, but man, Reddit's just, it's full of weirdos.
Yeah, Reddit is like the.
I'm sorry if you're a regular user of Reddit.
No, it's like it's like purgatory. It's like in between like the regular web and the dark web.
Yeah, right.
It's like the introductory, like you're getting your toes wet.
Yeah.
Because there's some really weird shit on Reddit. How long have we been going?
Oh, let's see. Stop screen sharing. No, I don't even know. It don't even say anywhere. Feels like a little bit, but I have before we wrap it up, like a personal
Yeah, tell them about the story at the
story
house.
with the masons. So I do like construction stuff for my day job. I do custom kitchens or whatever. So anyway, we go to this house and I walk in and it's like super awesome woodworking everywhere, trim work and stuff. And they've been working on this house forever, right? And the guy's carving all of this stuff out, all of these symbols and just all this stuff out by hand. And
Yeah, show them the picture.
Find the picture really quick. So he's carving all this stuff out by hand, right? And there's shelves and they have the moon cycles carved into them. There's symbols on everything, like the way the building is structured. If I can find it, the way the house is structured. Let's see, where are you at? There's almost no nails used. It's all grooved out and weighted in a very particular way. And
what do they call it? Cantilever?
Cantilever. And so there's a stick tape measure, which I don't know if you don't know what it is. It's an old tape measure tool, but it's made out of wood and it unfolds and it's called a stick tape. And it's one of the Masons like symbols. Symbolism. It's a symbol for the Masons. And so the guy I work with, he's an older guy. He was asking one of the guys there. He's like, "Oh, that's a stick tape. I ain't seen one of those in years." Blah blah blah. He was like, my neighbor used to use a stick tape. He was an old carpenter, and the guy that was there was like, "A carpenter?" He was like, "Are you sure he was a carpenter?" Because he's like the stick tape. And he's like, "I thought Masons used those." And my ears was like, I perked up real quick. What was he talking about? What? So then everything in the room started to make sense, right? Why it was taking them so long to get it done, why they were being so tedious about it.
And to reiterate, at his job, he's not installing like you do like custom cabinets and like stuff like that at houses, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not your everyday people. The people who he goes and installs cabinets at, like he does work at their houses, these are all wealthy people.
For the most part.
I mean, they're not cheap cabinets.
They all have decent amounts of money.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying every one of them's loaded, but yeah, like it's not like
several multi-million-dollar homes. Perfect. Here it is. All right. So let me go back here to the Zoom. Let's screen share one more time. So all of this is done by hand. 100%. If you
no nails.
No nails in this. Like there might be a nail, like maybe here, but very, very scarce. All of this is done by hand with a hammer and a chisel. All of this stuff here, all of these little shelves, and right here's the stick tape right there.
Yeah.
And so he talked about that, and I was just like,
so
okay.
What I was asking you earlier, is that on display in that, or is that he just set it down there?
The old guy uses it, and he just so happened to just put it there. But it does look like.
I thought you meant like that's. I thought it was on display. Like
no, like
because that would be like.
And then if you look like right here, okay, so you got this cool little light. Look at that, all that. Which it could be coincidence, maybe
it's just decorative, yeah.
But given the fact of everything else, it was just weird.
Just a vibe.
Zoom in here. I didn't want to move their stuff.
It's got a compass.
But there's a compass like laid hardwood into the floor, which is super dope. But yeah. I mean, but this right here is not your everyday.
See, okay, zoom in on the flowers on the beam. Like, look how intricate that is. That's all like hand carved. Yeah. So, I don't know.
He complimented me on my trim work, which is super cool. I was just like, "Oh, you gonna give me an invitation, bro?" But it's to reiterate again. I know we've said it before, but like, just because people know about the Masons, they know about the Illuminati, blah blah blah. Just because those things exist doesn't make the whole entirety of it bad, right? It's the secret groups that they form within themselves, and then they abuse the power that they may have. They have like these super crazy connections because it's a fraternity type.
Yeah, but that's not crazy to fathom, because I mean, for me, because if you look at government, I didn't try to cut you off.
Yeah.
You look at government,
there's secret circles within government.
Exactly.
That's corporations, lobbyists, and then
that's
within
what
that
really,
circle, there's even more smaller.
the Russian
again,
doll.
more symbolism. Yes, or Kashka doll. Yeah, like it's just it gets more nuanced and smaller groups.
And that's what you got to worry about. Just because someone comes, even if someone says, "Hey, I'm a Mason," the likelihood of them being like a 33rd degree top level right next to, the top of the Masons doesn't mean they're bad. Like,
I mean, you don't know. Yeah.
But you don't know exactly.
It's just that there's a lot of stuff. Like there are people who were Masons that also did horrible stuff or involved either directly or indirectly with bad things.
Pretty sure we said this in our CIA episode, but like just because the person's in the CIA's been tied to some
John Wilkes Booth was a Mason.
Yeah. The CIA's tied to some very corrupt and terrible things. Doesn't make every member of the CIA bad, right?
Yeah.
It's the same deal with that. Just like every cop's not bad, and then you go on forever. Like it's just a stigma that people put on groups or whatever, and it's it is what it is. But
like another thought I just had was like with the whole. You're talking about like how there's smaller circles within bigger groups. To relate it to symbology or symbolism, you look at a pyramid scheme. What is our system of government? What is our establishment? Literally, but a pyramid scheme.
That's extreme. I never thought about it like that, but yeah,
it's a pyramid scheme. That's what it is. Like, I mean, you got all of us at the bottom.
And the symbol with the pyramid.
That's what I'm saying. Which you know what pyramid actually means though? Like it just is not related, but it's called fire in the middle. The fire in the middle. Which goes into a whole other topic of like what pyramids were actually for and what they really were.
Right, they talk about that in that book.
And that you can start talking about all the pyramids all over the world that they found, and
that'll be deeper shit we get into on the website.
That's gonna have to be a different.
We don't really have to like censor ourselves for.
And
if you guys have any comments or anything down in the comment section, leave them. Whether or not about the video or just us in general, we're on Twitter. We're trying to get more active in things. Facebook.
Life has thrown us a couple wrenches, and so we haven't been like kicking this off as much as we wanted to. But we're getting into it more because this in particular, we've said this on a lot of our episodes. Like a lot of this stuff is way more in depth than we can cover in an hour.
It'd be more than you could comprehend, and it's. More than I would even want to talk about in an hour and a half's time. It's like there's so much to get into as far as strangeness in the world.
Yeah.
And whether it's all coincidence or if you want to believe it or not believe it, it's completely up to you.
Yeah.
We're just here to
talk about it.
Yeah. I want you to talk about it with us, build a community. If you guys happen to find us and you like us, let us know if you'd be interested in maybe like a Telegram or a Discord or something. Like we'll try to, as we grow, we'll try to expand our reach to you.
Yeah.
And definitely like pump out the content. We're just.
I want to start making merch too once it's a little bit more viable. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I thought about making shirts for just me and you to wear.
Yeah.
When we record sometimes.
We got to come up with some cool ideas.
So anyway, I guess that'll be all for the moment.
It's a little shorter one, yeah. But like I said, this, along with a lot of other topics we've covered already, they're going to have their own series, and we're going to have to go super in depth in a lot of stuff, and it's just too much. And
almost everything we've talked about so far, if you've watched it or if you go back and watch it, and everything we'll talk about in the future, believe it or not, it connects.
Yeah, a lot of stuff does.
Like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Like a very intricate 10 billion piece puzzle.
It's almost like a puzzle where certain pieces can fit in multiple places.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It would be like a 4D puzzle.
It's like something. I was about to say a 4D. That's a good example, man.
So if you've made it this far,
thank you so much.
Generally, we appreciate you so much for watching.
Because if you've hung on to the rocket so far, it's going to be a lot harder because we're going to talk. It's going to get a little more weird. I think.
would like to talk about current topics.
Yes, that's why we need the website, because
you can't really get into that too much
on
YouTube. So yeah, just let us know what you think. Drop a like, subscribe. leave
Thank you.
comments, suggestions, whatever, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.
Peace.